Does this feel familiar? That constant pressure to post something new every single day. The feeling that you're always starting from scratch? Yeah, the burnout is so real. But what if I told you the answer isn't to create more?
This is where we make that big mental shift. It's time to get off the content treadmill. And we do that by going from just working harder to working smarter. See, the pros have a not-so-secret weapon to fight this very feeling, and it's all about content repurposing. This is the absolute foundation for a strategy that you can actually stick with.
So, let's be super clear. This is not about coming up with a dozen new ideas every week. No way. This is about taking one amazing piece of content that you already created and giving it a much, much longer life on all your different platforms. It's a system, and we're going to break down that exact system today.
All right, the whole entire strategy kicks off right here with something the pros call hero content. I want you to think of this as the base of a giant pyramid. Everything else you post all week long, it's going to be built right on top of this one single powerful piece.
So what is hero content? Well, it's one big, meaty, long-form piece. Think a YouTube video or a podcast episode that becomes your anchor for the week. But here's the absolute key. It has to be searchable. That way your content isn't just a flash in the pan. It's a long-term asset that people can find weeks, months, or even years down the line.
So what does this actually look like? Well, these are the most common formats you'll see from creators like Amber Figlow and Stephanie Case. A long-form YouTube video is probably the most popular, just because it gives you video, audio, and a written transcript to play with. But, a really deep-dive podcast, an in-depth blog post, or a detailed newsletter can work just as well. The main thing is to pick the one you actually like making and just stick with it.
Okay, so you've made your hero content. Now what? How do you actually repurpose it? Well, this is where it gets really interesting, because the experts are kind of split. There are two main schools of thought, and I like to call them the multiplier and the adapter.
Let's break this down real quick. The multiplier is all about volume. It's about taking that one piece and just slicing and dicing it into as many little clips and posts as you possibly can. The adapter, on the other hand, is all about quality and context. It's about carefully reshaping that one core idea into a few really high-quality pieces that feel like they were born on each specific platform.
Let's talk about the multiplier first. Content strategist Amber Figlow is an absolute master of this. She takes one single YouTube video and just explodes it into this massive wave of content. And when she says 50 pieces, she is not kidding. Just look at that number, 50 plus individual posts. And remember, these all came from a single recording session. This is the definition of maximizing your output. It's pretty wild.
So how in the world do you get to 50? Well, here's how the math works out. You can see the original video becomes a podcast, a blog post, and a newsletter right off the bat. The rest of it? It's a high-volume play, just slicing and dicing that core content into tons of short-form videos and posts for platforms where people discover new stuff. It is a literal content machine.
But then, we have a completely different take. Business strategist Jillian Perkins looks at this and says, theoretically, that sounds great. There's just one problem. It doesn't work. She argues that this high-volume approach just flops. Why? Because a clip that was chopped from a YouTube video wasn't actually designed for TikTok or Instagram, and people can tell. So, the adapter's approach is totally different. Yeah, it starts with one core idea, but instead of just clipping it, the focus is on creating brand new, high-quality assets. You see that last point? Each piece has to be able to stand on its own 2 feet. It's about actually serving the audience on each platform, not just blasting them with clips.
Okay, so we've got the multiplier, who's all about volume, and the adapter, who's all about quality. They can feel like a lot to choose between, right? So where should you start? Let's look at a super simple, low-effort model from Expert Shine with Natasha that kind of blends the best of both worlds.
Her approach is brilliant because it's so simple. Step 1, you start with one good talking head clip. Then, from that one clip, you create 2 new things. First, a quote video. Just pull a powerful one-liner and put it over some B-roll. Then, a storytelling video. Use the audio from your original clip, but layer it over totally different B-roll. See? One idea, 3 totally different posts.
And this is the real magic of this kind of system. You film your main content one time, and that single session gives you everything you need for the entire week. Your main A-roll becomes the inspiration for 2 new pieces of B-roll content. It is maximum efficiency without killing your creativity.
So, I guess that brings us to the big question for you. What is your content ecosystem going to look like?
Are you going to be a multiplier, an adapter, or maybe a little bit of both? The key is to start with that strong hero content, build a smart system around it, and finally, get off that content treadmill for good.